Good night. Welcome to the first in a series of maths videos geared towards getting a better understanding of maths at the secondary level of our educational system. Additionally, as in our first video on this platform, students preparing for the Caribbean Examination Council's maths examination can also benefit from watching these videos. Tonight's video is on the critical and all-important maths topic called algebra. Our subtopic will be substitution. A series of videos will follow tonight's video. Remember, at any time you may like and share these videos, and you can subscribe to this channel, Educational Unlimited, as the online platform benefit from our stream of videos. I hope that you enjoy tonight's presentation. Mentioned earlier, we'll be looking at substitution tonight. Substitution in maths is simply putting numbers in place of variables in algebraic expressions. But what is an algebraic expression? An algebraic expression is one that includes variables and constants in an operation. In maths, an operation means addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. In this example here, we see 4x plus 3y being an algebraic expression where the numbers 4 and 3 are constants and the letters x and y are variables. As we go further, looking at examples of algebraic expression, we look at the linear algebraic expression 4x minus 3y, and we look at the algebraic expression, which is a quadratic equation of 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. These are examples. We defined substitution and we defined an algebraic expression. Let us now look at an example of how we utilize substitution in algebra. In this question, it says if x equal 2 and y equal 3, find the value of 4x minus 3y. In solving this problem, we will look at a series of steps. And so maths is a subject that for one to be successful, it is always good that we put the math solution into various steps. So the first step here in this solution is to rewrite the original expression 4x minus 3y. The second step is to substitute or put in place numbers where the variables were. So we put in place of x the number 2. We put in place of y the number 3. And so the equation or the expression rather will be 4 bracket 2 minus 3 bracket 3. In maths, the bracket there means that we will multiply. So in moving on to the second step, we will multiply 4 by 2 and the result will be 8. We will multiply 3 by 3 and the result will be 9. But we must remember to put back the minus or the subtraction sign. And so 8 minus 9 gives us -1, and that is our solution. Quite an easy substitution question there. Now, this substitution question was taken from a CXC past papers from a number of years ago. It says, Given that A equal 4, B equal to -2, and C equal 3, calculate the value of A squared minus BC all over B plus C. Right there, we know that this is a division, and so we have what is called an algebraic fraction. In solving this algebraic fraction, which is also an algebraic expression, we will put in place the number 4 where A was. We'll put in place the number -2 where B was, and we'll put in place the number 3 where C was. And so the numerator of this algebraic expression will read 4 squared minus -2 in bracketed 3. The denominator will read -2 in bracket plus the number 3 in brackets. Our third step in this solution will read 16 plus 6 all over 1. But how did we get 16 plus 6? 4 squared will give us a result of 16. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. -2 times 3 will give us -6. But lest we remember that a negative was also before the -2, which was in bracket. And so we will have a +6. So 16 plus 6 gives us 22, and that's all divided by 1. So the solution or the answer, 22 divided by 1 is 22. Quite another easy substitution maths problem. Our next question comes from the CXC past paper June 2022, and it comes from number 2C, and it reads thus: the height h of an object is directly proportional to the square root of its perimeter p. Write an equation showing the relationship between h and p. 1 mark. Given that h is equal to 5.4 when p is equal to 1.44, determine the value of h when p is 2.89. 2 marks. As we look at the answer to the solution 2C1, we know that the key to solving this problem is the constant k. Because it is a variation type of question that says h is directly proportional to the square root of its perimeter p, then the relationship between the h and p must be the constant k, and the equation, just being 1 mark, would read thus: h is equal to k, the constant, which is the variation or the relationship between the two, multiplied by the square root of p. Quite an easy solution. However, it is important that we solve this part of the question that we can move on to 2C2. 2C2 is a two-step type of substitution. First, we must find the value of k. As we use the cursor here, we must find the value of k when h is equal to 5.4 and when p, looking at the cursor, is equal to 1.44. And the solution would read thus. As we solve, looking at the cursor in the first problem, h is equal to k square root of p. So that means k must be multiplied by the square root of p. So substitution means we put in place constant where variables were. So for the variable h, we're going to put in place 5.4, and for the variable p, we're going to put in place 1.44. And so the equation would read 5.4 equal to k multiplied by the square root of 1.44. Our next step going down the line would be 5.4, as we look at the cursor, equals to 1.2k. Sir, why is this 1.2k? It is 1.2k because the square root of 1.44 plugging into our calculators would give us 1.2. And as we move down the line to our next step, we divide both sides of the equation by 1.2. So we divide this side by 1.2, as you can see here, and we divide the other side by 1.2. So because we divide both sides of the equation by 1.2, 5.4 divided by 1.2 would give us 4.5. And so this is the first step of this equation, the first step of solving this substitution problem taken from the CXC June exam 2022 paper 2. So the second step, now that we have a value for k, which is k equal to 4.5, we will substitute that value of k equal 4.5 and p equal 2.89 into the original equation. Let us pay attention by looking at the cursor. So the original expression was h equal to k multiplied by the square root of p. Plugging in values for k equal 4.5 and p equal 2.89 would read thus. H is equal to 4.5 multiplied by the square root of 2.89. We will calculate what is under the square root first. And so, using our calculators, the square root of 2.89 is 1.7. So, the third step in this part of the question would read thus. H is equal to 4.5 multiplied by 1.7. When we plug that into our calculators, we get a value of k equal to 7.65. This was a challenging question, but it was worth attempting. We're having fun tonight with this substitution topic in algebra. And so we pull again from another CXC past paper question. This one coming from June 2017 paper 2. And it reads 2CI. A formula is given as D is equal to the square root of 4h all over 5. Determine the value of D when h is equal to 29. Give your answer correct to two significant figures. This is a substitution problem, and the second part of the problem relates to us writing numbers in significant figures. So let's go. So, as we solve this equation, we first of all plug in the value of h equal 29 into the equation. Looking at the cursor, the equation would now read d is equal to the square root of 4 bracket 29, which means 4 multiplied by 29 all over 5. 4 multiplied by 29 gives us an answer of 116. So the equation would now read d is equal to, looking at the cursor, the square root of 116 all over 5. But that 116 all over 5 means 116 divided by 5. So we work out what is under the square root sign to get an answer of 23.2 when we divide 116 by 5. So the equation would then read d is equal to the square root of 23.2. When we find the square root of 23.2 by plugging into our calculators, we get an answer of d is equal to 4.8166378315. But the examiner specifically told us that we must write our answer correct to two significant figures. The two significant figures here are clearly 4 and 8. The 166378315 is not significant. So the answer would be D is equal to 4.8. What a challenging question. So before we close tonight, let us quickly summarize the lesson. First of all, substitution involves putting numbers in place of variables in algebraic expression. Once we can remember that, we plug in or put numbers in place of variables, we are on our way to solving substitutions. Secondly, solving substitution in algebra is a step-by-step approach. These are two prime techniques that we can take away from this class. As we continue our series of maths class on algebra, these are our next topics: factorization, algebraic expression or algebraic fractions rather, expansion, simultaneous equations, and subject of the formula. Note first that the factorization here was spelled that way as it is spelled in the American English with a Z or Z, and in the Queen's English with an S. So bear in mind that is why it was spelled like that. So these classes are very exciting, and I hope that before you leave, you will hit that subscribe button. I hope that you will like and share these videos. And most of all, I hope that it is of benefit to those students preparing for the CXC examinations, and I also hope that it is of benefit to anyone globally that wants to conquer this giant in maths called algebra, as we look at these algebra topics in a series of presentations. I hope that you enjoy the presentations tonight, and I hope that you will tune in again to this channel of Education Unlimited.